During the COVID-19 lockdown, Jolie Dudley decided to start studying the art of being a comedian. Now, once that lockdown was lifted, Jolie started a weekly dog-friendly comedy showcase in New York City called Must Love Dogs and Comedy, creating a safe place for furry friends to get in on the laughs. And she joins us now live from Brooklyn, New York. Thank you so much for joining us, Jolie.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, I'm ready to laugh with you. I'm ready to hear all about this comedy show that you built. But first, I want to ask you, where did your love for dogs come from? Where did it all start for you?
Yeah, so actually growing up, I was really afraid of dogs for like a really long time. And I never had dogs or anything like that growing up. We had, like hamsters and guinea pigs, like the little smaller pets.
Right.
But I had never had my own dog until I was in graduate school and I was recommended to get an emotional support animal, and I adopted a dog from a shelter when I used to live in Louisiana, and then she just became my world.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, the love that forms and how you get to that place where you just can't imagine life without them. I love that.
Oh
So
yes,
cool. It's
definitely
like,
an overly obsessed dog mom.
yes,
I've heard
yes.
she's tattooed on my arm.
Oh my, let me see that. Oh, that's so cool. That is so cool. So tell us, what kind of dog is she, and give us the rundown, because I want you to boast and be proud of her and give us all the details here.
Yeah, definitely. So her name is Nope. It's spelled
Nope.
Knope,
Got
like
it.
Leslie Knope from the TV show Parks and Rec.
Is that
Um,
the story? Is that how you came up with the name?
yeah, from the TV show. I
That's
love the
great.
TV show. Love Amy Poehler.
Oh,
And
I
so
love that show too. Treat Yourself Day and
yeah,
all of that. I'm like, don't stop that
exactly.
sometimes.
Exactly. So she's named after that TV show. So she, even when I adopted her, name is rooted in comedy. And she is a allegedly 7.5-year-old cattle dog mix.
Oh,
So she's black and white, spotted all over, and she's very sweet. She
cool.
is very cute, and yeah, she's just very low key. Always been really relaxed. And at one point, we had like an 85% conversion rate. And so when my friends and family would watch her, about like 85 to 90% of them afterwards adopted a dog themselves because they just loved her. And she was like so easy to get along with.
That is so great. They're like, whoa, if Jolie can do it and she's so amazing, maybe I can do it too. You're inspiring people, and you're using comedy to do it too. Like, I mean, obviously there's that high touch part of it, but I mean, I can't wait to learn all about this. I mean, so you decided to start studying comedy during COVID, right? And then how did this idea of starting the comedy show come about? Tell us the history.
Yeah, so during quarantine, during COVID, I took every comedy class that you can think of. I took sketch, I took some improv classes, character, I wrote a TV pilot, late night style TV writing, stand up, all of these different comedy classes. And it was such a fun outlet during COVID, especially because we're all inside, but
Oh
it's
yeah, it's
building
like
that
if you don't laugh, you
community.
might cry. So let's laugh a little, right? I mean,
Exactly,
might be funny.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
Great.
exactly. So we took a bunch of classes, met a bunch of people, virtually, and had that community. And around April 2021 is when things started opening back up in New York, including, clubs, comedy clubs, and people were going out and going to open mics. And so I didn't adopt Nope, my dog, during quarantine, but obviously, like everybody else, our day-to-day lives drastically changed, right?
Yes.
We went from sitting on the couch watching TV to now I'm leaving and going to comedy shows and open
Yes.
mics. And she's like, hey, where are you going? And I felt really guilty and sad leaving her back at home when we had just spent so much quality time together. And I remember telling my partner, man, it would be so cool if there was, like a comedy show or an open mic or something where we can bring Nope with us to the show. Because if we're feeling like this, I'm sure other people are too. And in fact,
Yes.
we had some friends that adopted during the pandemic, so they got pandemic pups, like a lot of people did, and they literally could not leave their apartment even though quarantine was over because their dog had so much separation anxiety because they didn't know life
Yes.
with their parents leaving and them staying at home during the day. So we were like, all of these kind of thoughts were like, oh, let's try it out. Let's see how it goes. Let people bring their pups with them to a comedy show to laugh and have a good time and just build that community again when we're just now leaving quarantine.
Yes, that makes sense. Now, I imagine with a city like New York City, it must have been hard to find a pet-friendly venue. I mean, was that just one of the initial setbacks? I'm just so glad you persevered and pushed through. And you're like, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, so before COVID hit New York, I had actually taken my dog to this dog-friendly cafe. And I remember going there and I was like, oh, we should go there and check it out. And it's called Boris and Horton. And at the time, they only had one location in the East Village. Now they have two, one in Brooklyn and one in the East Village. And I reached out to one of the owners, Logan, and kind of pitched her my idea. Hey, this is what we're thinking. We would love to try this out. And they were super open to the idea. They thought it was fun, especially like at that time when people were coming back out after quarantine and they needed to get more business at their small business. And so luckily I had remembered going there before COVID and was like, this would be the perfect place. They do other types of events. So let's, try it out and see if people would be interested in coming to a stand-up comedy show.
So cool. And it worked. And what your first show was it October of 2021?
Yes, correct. So our first show was October 2021 and was super positively received. Everybody had such a good time, the comedians, the humans, and especially the dogs.
Of course.
Getting to hang out with each other. And so we're like, all right, let's try it again next month. Let's try it again next month. Let's try it again next month until it was like really picking up steam and people came to know about us and our mission and wanted to, keep coming to the shows, and more people were aware of it, and it just really kind of grew faster than we had anticipated it to.
It's so great. I mean, I just imagine it's a blast. Can you walk us through like a typical live show for dog moms watching? Who knows? Maybe they have a trip planned to New York, or maybe they just want to make a trip, and we're always looking for a reason to visit New York. But give us an idea of what a typical show is like.
Yeah, definitely. So I will say we are New York based, but we've done shows in different cities too. So we did a show last year in LA. We've performed in Jersey, Virginia. We're definitely open, to collaborating, and our goal would be to be able to take this on tour and bring this to different cities across the US and maybe internationally as well. But what individuals can expect if they come to a Must Love Dogs and Comedy show is chaotic joy. And
I love that.
What we mean by that is just joy in the sense of you're sitting here, you're laughing at comedy, it's super fun, but then you look down and there's a really cute dog wagging its tail doing something silly, and so you're happy with that. You're with your friends, maybe you're drinking, maybe you're not. It's just pure joy and happiness. We've been called the happiest place in NYC by one of like the local press places, just because you come in and the vibe of Boris and Horton is bright, it's colorful. We leave the lights on because you got to see the dogs. So I think if you think of like traditional stand-up comedy, it's like dark, you're in a basement, crowded with a lot of people. But ours is the exact opposite. Plus,
sounds like a blast.
There's a lot of heckling with dogs. They love to,
I'm sure,
to interject.
You have to be ready for anything and everything when you're bringing different dogs together, different people, and then it's an adventure. I'm sure every show is just a howling good time, right? There we go. But tell me about your goals for this, because you're off to such a fantastic start. I mean, I say start, but we said it obviously has been going for a while now. You're at something like 70 shows. So where do you see this going from here? Do you have kind of a short-term plan? I know you said you want to take it nationally, maybe internationally, and you've already done some other national work, but what are some of your goals for the show?
Yeah, We get asked this a lot, right? But it's really hard to pinpoint this is our exact goal just because doors have been open for us that we would have never thought possible when we
Mhm.
did our
Right.
first little fun show idea in October 2021. Literally a year after that show in October 2022, when we were celebrating our 1 year anniversary, we partnered with The Daily Show, with Trevor Noah and on Comedy Central, and their writers came and performed, and we've had some really cool opportunities and just getting some
Yes.
press and partnering with bigger, larger brands. But I think immediate next goals would be to be able to bring this to more city, to more people. We are in the process of getting registered as a 501c3 nonprofit. So I'm hoping that that opens the door for more partnerships and people want to get involved in, like the larger mission of what we do, because we are a very mission driven comedy show. And I think that's what really makes us stand out from other comedy shows in New
Of
York.
course. Right.
Especially, we have dogs and they're there, but we're also, mission driven and really
I love
intentionally
that.
trying to make a positive impact on the New York City comedy community, building communities in general, and of course, animal rescue and animal
I love
wellness.
that. It's not just about building up your own thing, but giving back. And I love that
Mhm.
spirit of trying to really make an impact that even goes beyond the show. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's a little cliche, but like the Arms of the Angels song comes into your mind, the Sarah McLachlan, approach. So, which is beautiful. And she's doing great things, obviously, to help pets. But this is a little lighter, brighter, a little more sunshine,
Mhm.
a little more positive and happy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think when people think of traditional like animal rescue, animal wellness, animal shelters, it's very emotional. It's very
Of
sad. It's very
course.
touching. You don't know what
Yes.
these animals have gone through. You don't know what their lives were
Mhm.
before they were at the shelter, and we see a lot of abuse, neglect, and those are
Yes.
like very serious emotional topics. But we want to be able to kind of take this idea of animal rescue and wellness and flip it on its head and make it a positive thing to talk about. And at our shows, a portion of all of our ticket sales are always donated to a different animal rescue or animal shelter or animal wellness initiative. And so far, in just our small 2-person team, we've been able to raise over $19,000 for animal rescue and wellness. And we've done, a ton of shows. We've featured over 300 comedians. And so we're really kind of standing on two pillars of trying to champion animal wellness and then champion diversity in comedy and, hopefully provide comedians a chance to perform in a fun show and advance their careers, just as we're trying to make like a positive impact in the animal rescue and wellness community as
It's
well.
amazing. I mean, all of the good things that are happening. And I love this heart that you have for giving back and then also giving lesser known comedians a stage and a place to really, show their talent. Then you mentioned bigger names like Trevor Noah, so it sounds like folks who come to enjoy the show, I mean, they could just see a variety of anything. It just sounds like a lot of people have really gotten behind, what you're doing. And, I mean, New York City is just a mecca for stand up comedy. So I imagine there's not a shortage of talent.
Yeah, exactly. There's not a shortage of talent, and there's not a shortage of things to do,
Right.
and that's always something that's like top of mind. And any given night, there's hundreds of comedy shows that you can go to, and there's comedy clubs, and there's the bigger like Radio City Music Hall, and all of these, like these big well-known venues. And so we're always thinking, we're competing with that for people's time and attention. But because people know how mission driven we are, that's when we get to see the same people in pups coming, every couple of weeks, and oh my gosh, hey, how are
Oh,
you doing? I haven't seen you in a while, and building up our fan base, because it's a unique experience and something that really connects with a lot of people's hearts, and they want to be a part of it and experience it and just get to take cute pictures with their pups, or
right.
and just spend time with their pups in a different way, besides I don't know, maybe like sitting outside eating food
Huh?
or something like that. It's just a
Really
unique
neat. That's so
experience.
fun. Now, I know when you started this, you would probably get up and do your own stand up quite a bit. Do you still get to get up there on stage, pretty regularly, or how involved are you in that regard?
Yeah, I'll host every now and then. I think other comedians are always shocked because I think we're making our presence known and like, oh, you do the dog
Yes.
show, and other
I
comedians
can
are
relate to
always
that.
shocked
You
to
do the
hear
dog show? Yeah, I do the dog show too. Yeah,
exactly
you know?
the dog
The
show.
dog show.
Yeah, that's what it's lovingly
Yes,
called
I
now,
love it.
like amongst everybody. The
Oh,
dog show, the dog
it's
show.
awesome.
Um, yeah, and comedians are always kind of shocked to hear that I don't perform at every show because I think a lot of times comics, if you are making your own show and you're producing your
Sure.
own events, like it's you're creating space for other people, but it's also so you can get up and perform too. And I don't perform at every show, depending on what the theme is
Sure.
or what the lineup is, just because I
You have a lot
in
going on.
in a place where I want I want other people
Real.
to be able to perform, and then our repeat attendees, like they could probably recite my jokes
Oh, right. So
because
fun.
they've heard it a couple times, right? So it's like, oh,
There you
give
go.
other people the spotlight.
Now, if you really want to go improv, there wouldn't be that much. Well, I mean, you have to be ready. You have to be in the moment. I mean, I like to think of like, whose line is it anyway, right? Where you're just kind of like playing off of one another. Do you have a favorite form of comedy? I mean, obviously you studied a lot. Is there a favorite area for you personally?
I really like stand up. I like being able to kind of think about my experiences and stories and things that happen or I observe and be able to talk about it in a funny way and connect with other people. I think it's always funny when I'm talking about an experience or something and I see people in the audience and they're like, oh yeah, and like acknowledging
Love
that like
that.
that this is like a shared experience and I can understand that too. I really like hosting and emceeing, and so being in the dog world, we do our shows, but I've also had the opportunity to be the MC for the world's largest Halloween dog costume
So fun.
contest. and,
That's
and
great.
yeah, so like this very niche thing, and I was
Really
the
cool.
red carpet correspondent for the Griff Gala. So
Oh,
yeah,
fun.
lots of fun things. But I do like stand-up comedy and then like hosting and MC. I think is really fun.
Awesome. Well, and that storytelling component is so important. It's my understanding too that there's a docu-series in the works right now, kind of talking about, your experience, what called Shelter Me. What can you share with us about what's going on with Shelter Me?
Yeah, definitely. So we got in touch with the producers of the Emmy award-winning PBS docuseries called Shelter Me, and they follow stories of shelter pets and like the impact that they have on individual lives. So they've followed a lot of different stories in the past with different initiatives and programs. And again, just with it being very emotional and very heart-wrenching, they were looking to feature something where it was combining like happiness and joy and fun along with animal rescue. So we had gotten in contact with them, and the producers came to New York in early June, and we did a few days of filming with them, and they filmed one of our shows, and we got to get a tour of one of the shelters that we partnered with for a show to kind of see. We donate money, but this is where it's going. This is how it's actually making a difference. And so, yeah, it was super fun. We're excited to see it. We haven't seen it yet. It's supposed to be airing in PBS sometime this fall, but I think we're going to try our best to do like a New York City viewing party or something like that when it's getting ready to come out.
Well, I know a lot of our dog moms watching right now will want to see that. So if they want to find out more about when the show's actually airing and just more about Must Love Comedy and Dogs in general, what's the best way for them to keep informed of what's happening with you all?
Yeah, we're very active. Well, trying to be very active on social media, on our Instagram and our TikTok. Definitely trying to grow those, but that's where we pretty much will put a lot of stuff. So we have our Instagram, and we can get individuals to follow us on there, Must Love Dogs and Comedy. That also has a link to our website. It has a link to sign up for our email list. So I definitely encourage individuals to sign up for the email list, even if you don't live in New York, because that's where we do a lot of announcements on social media or via email saying, hey, we're actually coming to LA. And when we did our PBS TV show taping, our email list, they got first dibs on getting tickets to, come to the taping and potentially be on TV with their pup. So yeah, definitely check out our social media and get on our email list so we can stay in touch with you and let you know if we're coming to your area soon, or just ways that you can get involved and support Must Love Dogs and Comedy from wherever you are.
Fantastic. Innovator and comedian Jolie Dudley, what a pleasure talking with you today. We wish you so much success. Thanks for your time.
Thanks so much. We always begin and end our shows with, get ready to laugh and sniff each other's butts.
Love it. And enjoy the joyful chaos, right?
Exactly. And watch where you step.
Thanks so much for watching this Dog Mom News clip. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome and informative Dog Mom News content. And while you're at it, ring the bell so that you can find out about more content in real time. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, everyone.